Sammy, and this is
Deepish.
Hi guys. How are you feeling about the last few weeks?
I feel like we need to acknowledge how much support and love we've been receiving over our last few episodes.
Yes. Because we had 2 deep bangers back to back.
My anxiety episode, I was so stressed about releasing that. Mm-hmm. And I know compared to other people's traumas, it's like, okay, you can talk about your mental health journey. But for me, this is the most vulnerable thing. I had mentioned I'm not the most open person. And so a few days leading up, I was like, I don't want to. And you're like, it's okay, Chelsey, holding my hand. But afterwards, just flooding of support and messages. I just had so many of my old friends that I went to high school with and stuff were like, I had no idea you were going through that. I love you. Kind of retroactively apologizing, and I was like, no, I don't need an apology. Like, I love you. You were there for me in the exact way I needed you to be there for me. But it's almost like mending and providing connection that I didn't know that I needed.
Yeah.
And I also feel like people are reaching out to us in our personal lives and are being more vulnerable with us.
Yeah, I know that's been the same for me the last couple of weeks. I was telling Hayden, I had so many social events this past weekend, and I'm so not sick of hearing about the podcast, but I'm like vulnerability hangover because everyone is like, how's the podcast going? Or, oh my gosh, that last episode, or it was so good. One of the number one comments I've gotten is, I loved hearing more about Chelsey. I think that was very well received because people are more curious about you and your life. And obviously the topics that you talked about were so relatable and, you know, all of those things. And so I hope that we can continue that and open up about that a little bit more. But I think that's just also adding layers to this podcast and getting to know us a little bit more. I feel like will help people connect to us more.
Yes, exactly. And then I also feel like after Shelby's episode, I loved that episode.
I loved it so much.
And I felt so proud to have that on our platform, her being so willing to be so open and vulnerable. And afterwards I was like, I genuinely don't care if a single person listens to this. The fact that I got to sit down with an amazing person and hear their story was so worth it to me. And it's just reaffirming those whys of why are we doing this, creating connection and being able for others to feel comfortable coming on and expressing some of their most vulnerable things.
Yeah. And I love that the topics of our different episodes have brought up conversations in my personal life with my friends and my family of things that they're going through. That alone is serving such a purpose for me, where I know that I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing right now. And while some people may think it's scary or cringy or weird that we're so open and just opening our hearts to everyone to listen to, I genuinely feel like we're doing what we should be doing right now.
I know, it's weird. Both of us have had so many little experiences over the last few weeks that's like, oh, we're literally on the right pathway. Like the train track is correct direction.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is it's not even just for this podcast to pop off or for it to get huge or whatever. I feel like it's serving so much purpose in our lives right now for what we need personally. And that is just making me so happy. I love calling you and like, Chelsey, this is our why.
Yeah, you were calling me the other day. I need to bear my testimony on how much I love this podcast and what it's doing for us. And I'm like, I love that. And also today because I come down to Utah County to film. And Brandon, I was like, oh, the traffic. And he's like, no, Chelsey, you need it. Because every time after you come back, your cup is filled. And it's so funny because now that I'm here and sitting down, I'm so excited and happy.
I'm sure when you're in traffic, you're like, why am I doing this?
Well, just the timing of the day, I'm like, oh my. But then also I was thinking about it. I was just listening to a book and just thinking, even though traffic sucks, being able to just think for an hour and a half and listen to something and not have kids like, mom. I'm like, okay,
this is me time. And that's what you need to do, is get yourself a little drink, a little treat, turn on a good book, and just make that time
my time. That's what I need to do. Reframe that.
Romanticize it.
Yes. Because today I was like, oh my gosh, this traffic is going to kill me.
Yeah.
Me time.
Yeah. Do it.
Okay. I love that. Can we just do a pop culture recap right now? I feel like there's so much going on and there's so much I've been wanting to talk to you about.
Yes, please.
There's so much. Okay. First of all, let's just kick it off with, how do you feel about Kylie and Timothy?
I knew. I was like, if we talk about pop culture, Chelsey's going to talk about Kylie and Timothy. Honestly, I don't care about them.
You don't have any feelings. Like, you see a picture or a video
I saw
of them.
a video of them the other day. I think they were kissing at Coachella, and I was like, oh, she seems happy. But it's such a random couple. I don't know. I just am not. Tell me why I should care about this. Like, or for people who don't know, what's the lore of Kylie and Timothy?
I don't know what it is.
And for those who don't know, it's Kylie Jenner and Timothy
Chalamet. Timothy.
to Chalamet, as Adam Sandler would say.
But it feels so random. But then when you see them, you're like, oh, they're cute. And she does seem happy. And she's getting her filler dissolved. And look, she's able to really smile. And I feel like her past relationships were kind of stifling her. But when you think about it, it's like they shouldn't fit together. And then you see them and it's like, okay, it kind of fits together. But then it also feels something's off. Is this performative? I don't know what the vibe is, but then I hear interviews with him solo and I'm like, you're so cool, you're so fun. And then same with Kylie, I'm like, you're hilarious and so pretty. So then of course they probably get along. But just seeing her at all these prestigious award shows, this is not People's Choice Awards, this is literally the Oscars, and you're just like, my boo.
Yeah, but she's also a billionaire.
No, I know.
No, it's Kylie Jenner, but also it's not so random that she's in that room. She's not some OnlyFans girl that found her way to a +1, you know?
No, totally. And I need to remember that I want to like it, and I do when I see it, but then after the fact, when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, something's not adding up.
Yeah, and maybe it is for show, or maybe it's just, do you feel like you have a personal connection with either of them individually?
Not super strong. Like I said, whenever I hear videos, I think Timothy's so talented. And everything he's in, he's so good. And then he's randomly super into sports, and he's in this. He's super charismatic when he's talking. And same with Kylie. Whenever I see her, the little clips are, I don't watch Keeping Up with Kardashians or anything. But when I see her, I'm like, she's funny. And I think she's my favorite out of all of them. And so I like them, but
yeah, maybe something's off. But that's what's hard is when I'm not connected to either of them. I don't really care about couples unless.
Who's your favorite
You know who I'm shipping right now is Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney.
I want them to be together.
She went to his sister's wedding,
and it was literally
and broke up with her fiance.
Oh, what's the movie that they're in together? Anyone But You. It was like that in real life.
Yeah,
literally went to his sister's wedding. So the paparazzi caught a picture of Sydney Sweeney at Glenn Powell's sister's wedding.
So the whole time they were filming that movie, they had chemistry, but she was engaged to some other guy, and he was dating some other girl. Then him and the girl break up, but she's still engaged to the other guy.
I think he was engaged.
Was he engaged?
Yeah. So they broke up.
Yeah, so everyone was like, oh, wants them together because they would just be so cute. And now it may be happening. We don't know.
And they quote unquote broke up a few months ago, but it wasn't public.
Yeah.
And now she's single and she's at the wedding. Okay, so what do you really think? Do you feel like they're hooking up, or do you feel like they're just friends, or what? How is she close with his sister? What do you really think is happening?
Yeah, I think they definitely got close while filming. And then they could just say, no, we're just good friends. And then his sister tagged along or whatever, right? So I think there's probably some distant form of friendship where like she would get invited. But then I think they're kind of kidding themselves. We're just really good friends. And
there's
then
too much chemistry.
Sure some drunk hinky-pinky after the wedding.
Do you think that they've slept together? Real talk.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Here's my logical brain. I don't think anything's happening. I think they are just friends. She's there because she's close with Glenn and met the sister. And obviously everyone's shipping them. But at the same time, you're both single. You're so hot, both of you. Like, why not?
Yeah.
Literally, why not?
That's the thing is, I don't know if they'll date for sure, but I feel like for sure they'd maybe test it out, like sleep together and then just see if there's anything there.
And their chemistry is not just for show.
Yeah.
The whole time they were filming it, the press was insane. The flirting.
Yes, but then you thought, oh, okay, they're selling this movie.
For PR and all that stuff.
So then if this would have happened while they were promoting that movie, then you'd think, okay, maybe this is just for PR or whatever. But obviously that movie is super old now, so there's no reason for them. And the fact that she breaks up with her fiance and finds her way back to him, why everyone's freaking out.
I know, but I hope that they do more movies together. The thing is, though, do you think Sydney Sweeney's a good actress?
It kind of depends on the role. In Euphoria, she was amazing, but in some of these cheesy chick flicks, it's so funny because I feel like some people think that movie was so bad. I remember when I first watched it, I loved it. I was like, this was so cute, just refreshing to see a chick flick. But now when I watch it back, I'm like, yeah, I could kind of see this is kind of brain melting rom-com.
Glenn Powell is such a good actor. And he can have chemistry. Yes, he can have chemistry with a freaking tree.
Yeah.
Like him in Twisters.
Yeah, with that random chick. Yeah.
Well, I love Daisy Joan Eggert, so don't say anything bad about her. I love her so much.
She's so random to me, just like basic.
Oh,
boring.
No. Her and Paul Mescal need to love each other. Do you know that they were in that show together? Normal People. Her and Paul Mescal.
Oh yeah, I tried to watch that, but I couldn't get into it.
It's dark, but it's so good, and everyone ships them. I do, and I'm obsessed with them, and they're gonna end up together. He's dating Gracie Abrams now.
Oh.
But he's been with all these girls, and then he ends up going back to Daisy. They're just best friends, and I hope that they're endgame. Anyways, love her. Anyone But You, I feel like Sydney's character, who she was, could have been played by anyone.
Yeah.
I don't feel like she made it. I feel like Glenn made that funny and light and had a lot of humor. She's hot.
Yeah.
And very basic acting skills, in my opinion.
Yeah. But she was also in Handmaid's Tale. Did you ever watch Handmaid's Tale?
No, I heard she was good. She's very good at the monotone, kind of a little bit of like scariness. I feel like she could really thrive in that.
I almost feel like she's too chill for these rom-coms.
Yeah.
Like,
and
she
it's
doesn't
very
have
monotone.
a bubbly personality,
yes.
and so she doesn't do good as like the lead love interest.
You know who should be in every rom-com?
Who?
Is Lucy Hale.
Oh, really?
For some reason, whenever I'm reading these chick flick books, she is in my mind for all of them. She should be the lead of all of these.
Yeah, I just think PLL. Yeah. Pretty Little Liars. I just can't get past it.
Okay, you know who is the best leading lady?
Who?
There's been so many, but there hasn't been a Kate Hudson or a Julia Roberts or someone that's so... But Kate Hudson, I watched How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days the other day, and I'm like, this is gold.
It really is the best.
Her and Matthew McConaughey's connection in that is epic. That yellow dress is seared in every girl's brain.
But also, Glenn Powell is
the new
Matthew McConaughey. He's so much like him.
Yes.
But I know, I feel like there was like 4 or 5 it girls. Sandra Bullock, Meg Ryan, Julia Roberts, Jennifer Aniston, and now there's not.
Yeah, can you think of one that's like, oh, now it's very cheesy. Where even the television shows, I'm like, none of these girls have this it quality.
I feel like Sophia Carson is in all the movies now, but she gives off cheesy.
Oh, I wanted to talk about The Life List.
Okay.
So there's a movie that came out on Netflix called The Life List. I loved it.
It was so cute, huh?
It was so... I was sobbing the first 10 minutes in.
I know. It's so weird because it just like takes this turn and you're like, oh, okay, this is going there.
I feel like Connie Britton, I could literally watch her in anything.
Oh, she's the dream mom character. Just the most comforting,
cozy. Yes. When she's cuddling with her on the bed, I'm like, I would just want to cuddle with my mom right now. I love her so much. Here's the thing though, that girl, Sophia
Carson,
I just don't love her at all.
Yeah.
Even in the movie, I was like, I love this premise, but when she's being goofy, that's not my name.
Yeah.
When she's dancing, I'm like, this is off.
Yeah.
The only role she killed it in was in Descendants.
Yeah, but even then, it's like, that's so... I mean, obviously, I don't have kids watch, but like my nieces used to watch that, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, you're whatever. I know, or whatever your freaking name is.
But I loved her in that. Like, I'm like, oh, this is good. But in these chick flicks, even like the TSA one,
yeah,
I was like, you're not giving leading lady, I want to be your best friend. Like, just even watching How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, I was like, Kate Hudson is electric.
Yeah, she really does have this energy and this banter, like wit to her.
Yeah. And her and Matthew's chemistry was like palpable.
Yeah.
And I saw an interview recently with her and she was like, you have great loves of your life and then you have great love acting partners of your life, and he's definitely one of mine. Like, he's a great love of mine.
What do you think about Kate Hudson's singing career?
Here's the thing. She's such a good singer. She's so amazing. She genuinely has a very good voice, but I'm like, girl, it's never going to happen. You're not going to have a bop on the radio, but sing at the Christmas programs and do it for charity and do it at the parties. But it's just not, she's not going to be an Adele, you know? And I think that's her ultimate dream. She would love to be on the Strip in Vegas and have a whole thing. What do you think?
I mean, her voice is fine, but I feel like it's cringy. I feel like she don't have to.
So bad.
She wants it so bad, but even when she's singing, it's just kind of like, you know, it's a little try hard. And I'm like, you get a good producer, get a good writer, get an actual good song, and don't try so hard, and then maybe it will be better. I don't know.
Yeah, because the songs she's singing too are a little bit. That's what I'm saying. Where it's
Yeah.
like, sing a classic at
Or
like
get like
a
some
charity.
talented people on your team. Get a good producer, a good writer.
But I just don't feel like I could ever see her having a hit song on the radio. But for some reason, I don't think that that's the avenue you should pursue. Even in Turning Point, the show she came out with this year, I'm like, I love you in this.
Yeah,
you look amazing.
Just act. Yeah.
Just act. I'm trying to think of who else is in these. There's just not like chip flicks really anymore either in the box office. I think that's why we were all so starved. And then we saw Anyone But You and all of us were like, yes, oh my gosh. And it did super well. The world is craving that, but we need a good cast.
We're not really getting it. I guess
We're getting a lot of book adaptations coming though.
yeah, and that's what I'm thinking about. Verity is coming out, right? And
I'm so pissed.
the
that,
casting of that, it's like, okay, Anne Hathaway and
Dakota Johnson,
that one
guy, Josh Hartnett or whatever.
But then what book is it that Housemaid is.
Did you read that?
That's Sydney Sweeney and what's her face,
and I feel like she'll be good in that. Like Sydney, I'm like, I can see her because it's a little darker. I think Sydney's like good with a little spin of darkness.
No, I think she's perfect for that. But yeah, I'm excited for that one. But they're going back to, it's like the older people. Even Anne Hathaway being in that Harry Styles one.
It felt weird.
I wish Anne Hathaway could be one that faded out. But you know what I was actually thinking this week? I was watching It Takes Two. And I was like, how would the world be different if Mary-Kate and Ashley stayed in acting? Like if they were the Sydney Sweeneys or if they were the Kate Hudsons of
that
rom-coms
genre
and stuff, or they continued to act in like in really amazing movies. What would it have been like to see them act seriously as adults? It makes me sad.
I know, because their last movie was New York Minute.
I know.
And I feel like that turned a little bit where it's like, okay, obviously it was still really cheesy, but they're getting older where they could have really been in some good shows and movies. And I think too, if the timing was different with television when they stopped acting, I could have seen them in an HBO White Lotus.
Yeah.
You know, they would have been so good in the drama.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, can we talk about White Lotus? So I finished it and then I've been watching Succession. And you would text me, you're like, I just can't get into Succession. I feel so gross and dirty after. And you felt similar with White Lotus.
Yeah.
Can we just figure out what that is? Because I know what you're talking about. I had to stop watching Succession because I was like, I feel gross. I can do it once a week with White Lotus, but watching 3 episodes a night for a whole week, there's no shining light in this. It's all just heavy and dark and gross.
Even that 90-minute finale, it put me in the worst mood. I was so pissed after.
So what do you think it is?
It's because you can't, for me at least, you can't connect to any of the characters. Like Succession, okay, the girl's kind of powerful, or I can have a favorite brother, whatever, but they're all kind of shitty.
Yes.
And then same with White Lotus. I'm like, I can't connect to, but you guys are all
selfish, self-absorbed,
not
likable, heroic leading characters.
They're not feel-good storylines ever. And I love a Dateline episode. I love crime. I love those type of things, but there's just something about a show being crafted on all negative energy that I don't like. Where like Scandal, I loved Scandal, and it's different because you really are rooting for Kerry Washington and
but objectively she's sleeping with a married guy and it's bad stuff, but it's
connect to the character.
Yeah.
And you can
connect with good versus evil too. That's another thing. But do you ever have this where if you watch something, it's stuck in your brain for a while? Like you're like replaying it over and over again in your head.
Oh yeah.
Do you have that? Because Brandon can watch something, even just nudity in a show. I don't like that because some people can just watch something and it goes in one ear out the other type of thing. But I'm closing my eyes and picturing these really graphic scenes. And I don't want that in my brain.
That's how it was. I tried to watch. Did you watch Game of Thrones?
No. I watched one episode and I was like, absolutely no. I could not.
I'm not sensitive to nudity or anything, so that would have been fine. But the first episode, one of the kids keeps these wolves as their dog and the dad has to kill the dogs or whatever. And there was just a couple of other things. And I'm like, this makes me sick. Like, this is sad. Why do I want to expose myself to this? It's already so hard. I can do sad as long as like this is us sad. as long as you're gonna paint it pretty afterwards.
Yes, and there's like a
fine.
redeeming kind of, not even necessarily a happy ending, but there's this underlying hope, goodness,
like
truth
pain.
wins,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. I like those type of shows, but I'm realizing, I think for so long I didn't watch certain shows or do certain things because of more religious based, but now that I'm exploring watching whatever I want to watch, now I'm finding my own threshold with certain things where I don't want to consume that because I don't want to be closing my eyes thinking about that, and I don't want those dark thoughts swirling in my brain. But I'm realizing that is a unique experience to me, because I asked Brandon about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, are you thinking about that scene still? And he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, no, that thing. And he's like, no, that's not how I think. I just watch it and I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, it's your own threshold, because like I said, nudity, sex, all that stuff doesn't get to me. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with swearing, but the violent stuff, I don't want to watch a super gory movie. You know what I mean? I love scary movies, but when it's too gory, my friend Sam, we always go see scary movies, and he loves the blood gushing, and I cannot. That crap.
It's funny though, because what did we watch? Oh, me and Brandon went and saw Novocaine. It was whatever action movie. It was so gory,
really,
lots of blood and breaking arms and shooting in the head, freaking brains, and I'm like, I hate this. I hate gore, but I'm fine with action.
That's the thing. I hate action movies, and I'm not afraid to say it. I've always hated them.
I know.
And I used to have to go see them on dates and stuff, and now I can just really put that barrier down and say no, thank you.
No, thank you. It's not for me.
Unless it has a hardcore romantic interest that's going to keep me. I did like the Batman movies, but no.
See, I can hang with that. It's so weird though. I think sometimes I surprise myself, because there was this movie called The Beekeeper that came out. It was with Jason Statham. I think that's how you say his name. He's like the action guy. And we went to Beekeeper. My husband's like, you're going to hate this. And it's just like him killing everyone. There's no real storyline, but him just like, I'm going to get to the top and freaking avenge my dead neighbor, and I'm gonna kill everyone in my path. And I randomly loved it. I loved the vengeance part of it, where I'm like, oh, you loved your neighbor, like, go. But
that's what I'm saying, is you could connect to it in some way.
But it's weird too, because it was just him shooting everyone, so it wasn't super gory. It wasn't like I'm gonna stab you to death and stuff. I loved that movie. Brent's like, this is so weird. So then he'll be like, let's watch this movie. That's why we watched Novocaine, and I was like, it was too gory.
Like Beekeeper.
But I just love, he's like, what's a job? Like, what's the job I'll take? I'm retired. The president calls. Okay, what's the job?
Have you watched Love on the Spectrum yet?
No, but I want to.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's the definition of like a feel-good show.
Yes, you were texting me about it.
Yeah, and I keep telling everyone, the people at work, I told them, I was like, have you guys seen Love on the Spectrum? And they're like, is that what I think it is? I'm like, yes, these people are dating and they're autistic and they're so cute.
It's just the other end of the coin of just everything rotten in the world.
They're completely innocent and so sweet. Me and Hayden will just hide under the covers, and we were dying laughing out loud. It's rare for us to be off our phones into a show so giddy and happy. It was the best, and you have to watch it.
I've watched a lot of clips, and the moms are so sweet, and they just love their kids. The one guy doesn't like blondes.
Oh, Connor. Connor's my favorite, and his mom is so cute with him.
Yes, and then the two that are, and she like sung him the song.
Yeah, Abby.
Abby.
No, but there's this one couple. She's so cute. She's kind of like Abby, but she basically lives by herself, is fully functioning, but loves her American Girl dolls, loves making bracelets and stuff, never had a kiss, whatever. She goes on a date with this guy who's pretty with it, but he's a cowboy and he DJs and stuff.
Cute.
And so they go on a date, and he's just like, thank you, ma'am. You sure are my cowboy princess, aren't you? Anyway, so they're so cute, and they have their first kiss, and he brings her all these gifts, and he's such a gentleman. They go meet her family, and just every single sentence they speak to each other, they just start making out in front of the parents, and the parents are like, oh my gosh. And me and Hayden were dying. You have to see it.
Okay.
It's the best feel-good show ever. Also, Eminem became a grandpa.
Oh, what?
Haley and Lainey,
and that weirdly makes me feel 1,000 years old, and also heals a part of me for some reason.
I know, isn't that happy? Like, Haley's married and has a family.
I hope she's happy. What about Lainey?
I follow her on Instagram.
Should we ask her on the pod?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I would pass out. Haley and Lainey are my heroes, but yeah, Haley had a baby. Okay. Also, I wanted to get your thoughts. Did you listen to Chappell Roan's episode on Call Her Daddy.
Oh my gosh, the motherhood clip. I saw a few clips, but I didn't listen to the whole episode. Did you?
Yes. First of all, wanted to know your thoughts, and then I wanted to share something.
Okay. Are you pregnant?
No. What if I was just like, I'm pregnant?
I would die. Like if
Would
you
you
just
start
waited this
bawling?
whole. Oh, I'd immediately start. Don't do that to me though.
I won't do that to you, but it would just be so fun if I could just drop that right now, but I
Oh
can't.
my gosh. I feel like that would emotionally, I would be so happy, but it would wreck me. The listeners would see firsthand my heart, just like my whole inside splitting open and like pouring over on you and like so much love. But don't do that. Because then you would have
to tell you on the podcast.
No, because then you'll have to wait. I need you to take the test and find out you're pregnant and call me immediately. I don't want you to wait a day or two to tell me. No, I know you want to, but please don't do that to me.
I don't know. You waited a freaking long time to tell me about Lennox.
Yeah, Lennox, but not Riggs or
Okay,
Rooney.
well, this is my first.
I know, but please don't.
You're so like private and whatever, and then I'm supposed to just be like, Chels.
But it's like we're literally texting every day about it. I'm like, hey, did you start your period? Or what's going? You know what I mean? And so it's like then like ... I'm pregnant. I mean, it would be really special to capture that, but please tell me right away.
It's fine.
Okay, so basically Chapel Roan was on Call Her Daddy, and she's a character, and one of the parts was her saying, because I think she was like, oh, do you ever want kids? And she's like, honestly, everyone I know in my life that has kids is miserable. Like having kids makes you miserable.
Yeah.
And they're just like dead behind the eyes, and it just looks awful. I have no desire to do that. And here's the thing, her thinking that, I'm like, cool. Because if I didn't have kids and I saw that, I'd be like, that does suck. That looks hard. And the one thing I can say is she's not a mom, so she doesn't understand. Or she's not a parent. There's something when you're in the club, it can be the worst, hardest day ever. Simultaneously the best day ever. Because the love you feel is insane. The happiness, the joy it brings. She clearly has not experienced that. So I'm like, it's fine that she has that perspective because she doesn't know anything different. And so she sees her friends tired and whatever, but it's a mom to mom. Your kid could be just throwing the biggest tantrum or something horrendous is happening and you lock eyes and you both know this moment is so hard, but I know you love your kid and I know that kid is everything to you. Literally your whole world is throwing a tantrum right now. I get it and I feel you, you know?
Totally.
So I feel like she's fine. And I think parents and especially moms have been super offended by her saying that. And they're like posting all these videos like dubbed over her saying that. And then it's them with their kids and having so much fun and the best time. Yeah. And I feel like they're like, no, we're not. And I think it does
get to overcompensate.
Yeah, and not even overcompensate, but I'm sure someone maybe is on the fence or is pregnant and scared hears that and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. Like, what if it does suck? And I'm here to tell you, even in my deepest, darkest postpartum depression and sadness, my kids were everything, the best part of my whole existence.
There's so much good outweighs the like
hard days,
mini bad.
Yeah, and that sense of purpose, life, meaning, everything, I just know she obviously hasn't experienced that, so that makes sense why your friends. The one thing that does make me kind of sad is it makes me think she's probably not a very good friend.
Yes,
because like
that's
her
exactly my thought too.
Friends that have kids are in the trenches are calling her, talking to her like, oh my gosh, my kid didn't sleep. They want a safe space for compassion and care, and clearly she's not able to give that. She's out here talking crap behind their backs, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like that makes me sad, like for her high school friends listening to that, they're like, oh, she's not a safe space. And she doesn't understand.
Or she just doesn't envy their life at all, where she's like, have no light in their eyes. They're not blah, blah, blah. I don't know a single person who's happy or whatever.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's probably really sad for her friends to hear. Like if you were to say that behind my back, I'd be like, that is devastating to me. So I'm sure her friends feel similar.
Because you would feel so misunderstood because you're like, you don't even know.
Yeah, you literally don't even know. But if you were to call up a mom and complain about your day, you both know that feeling, you know?
Yeah, totally. Of the highs and lows.
Yeah. What's your outlook? You trying to get pregnant and have babies, do you feel disrespected at all? Holy crap.
Oh, no. No, I don't feel disrespected. Not everyone has to have kids. And I totally respect that. Even nowadays, a lot of people aren't wanting kids. And I respect that. I don't think it's the end all be all. But I do know, obviously, that it brings so much happiness. And that's the type of happiness in life that I'm wanting and the fulfillment of it. I wasn't offended by it at all. It's not an infertility thing that triggers me or whatever. It's just interesting because obviously there's times where I'm even when my sister was raising her girls and I could go home and sleep, and watching them throw a tantrum and milk spilled all over the floor and all that stuff, I'm like, oh, good luck with that. That looks hard. But then there also is so much good. But I came across this post that I loved, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so true. She says a bunch of stuff. I can send it to you. But she basically is like, let's talk about the unseen stuff about motherhood, and makes a whole list of how hard pregnancy is. And she says when she hears moms venting, she's witnessing the exhale, the things that need to get out because there's no village anymore. It's just us in the trenches trying not to disappear. And like all humans, moms feel better after they vent. They're holding it all together for their children, and they need people to hold it together for them. And I love that metaphor for the negative is the exhale and the positive is the inhale. And all of the things that we exhale about our marriages or our kids or our work or whatever. And there's so much of the inhale that we don't share. I loved that.
Oh my gosh, wait, I'm obsessed with that. But I do feel like it's important to find safe people to have that exhale with.
Yeah.
Because, for instance, Chappell Rowan's friends talking to her about everything. Clearly, she's not a safe space.
Yeah.
But I'm so grateful that I have those people in my life where I can like vent to about certain things or certain topics, you know, especially motherhood. I hope when you have kids and you're having those hard days, I'll be that safe space for you because you know, and I'm grateful my best friend Rachel, we're going through motherhood at the same exact time together. And we both have 3 boys. We're like in it so deep together.
Yeah.
And it's such a safe place because we both know that love, and we are obsessed with our kids. There's nothing that they could do that could ever make it, but we can call each other and be like, oh my gosh, vent about every single detail.
Yeah. And
in depth.
Yeah.
Where I can talk about napping or a tantrum for literally 25 minutes with her, and she's locked in, and that empathy is oozing from her veins towards me. And I'm so grateful that I have that outlet. And I'm not just out here talking crap on my kids. It's a safe environment. Yeah. It's kind of like your spouse. Like I can say that with Brandon. You know what I mean? Yeah. To certain friends, I don't want to be out here being like, oh my gosh, it's this. And then that becomes kind of their narrative of how my experience with motherhood is.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's so much more than.
I guess it's creating a safe space because there's so much. And I've said that to you before too, where I'm like, I want you to tell me more of your problems. I want you to share, because there are friends that I have just never share any of the negative. And in my mind, I'm like, it's not that I want you guys to be negative, but I feel like I'm missing the other side of so much that you guys are going through. And this put it to words of, I want your inhale and your exhale. I want the full breath. I don't want just, oh yeah, everything's great. Like Brandon's perfect and no problems, you know, and it's like, no, what are you really experiencing?
And I think that just goes back to what your passions are in life, and it's truly connection with others, because you want the positives and you want all the highlights and the good, but you truly want to experience that human as a whole.
Yeah.
And it's never to be judgmental or to be like, oh my gosh, my life is so much better than yours because your marriage sucks and mine is great. I don't feel like it's ever like that. It's like, I want to truly connect with you.
And be there for you.
Like, be there for you. And I think there's so many experiences that you've had that people will open up to you and will share. And it feels like I want to be there for them more. I want to be a better friend. And there is that power in opening up. But that's not for everyone. That's a testament to you as a person, because you can be that safe space. But like if I were to open up with certain people in my life that I have tried to open up with, it falls flat and I feel like garbage after, because I've tried to show the more not the perfect side, because I need that connection and safe place. And it's like, oh, that sucks, or you shouldn't feel that way. That's dumb that you feel that. And it's like, ugh. And I've had a lot of those experiences where I've kind of built a little fence around my vulnerabilities, because I don't want to feel or like rejection.
Yeah. When someone tells you can't feel bad about something, you're, oh, you can't be mad at that. They're just whatever. And it's like, you can't tell me how to feel. You can't tell me I can't be mad or that I can't have my feelings hurt. That is definition of not a safe space.
Yeah. But I think you also, if people do come to you with everything, I think that adds to your self-esteem as well. You, Sammy, it's like, I feel so amazing and honored that people are sharing the good and the bad with me.
But I also think it's not even like pour all your stuff on me. It's more, I have a hard time connecting with perfect. I have a hard time connecting with like, nope, everything's good, because my parents were so like that. Like, no, we have no issues, we're perfect, whatever. I want to connect through your mistakes. I want to connect through places that you're falling short on and learn from them, versus, oh, tell me all the tea and give me all your garbage, you know?
That aspect of failure, or just times in your life that you fail, or you feel like you're coming up short, is such a bridge to connection, because we all experience that.
Because even as I learn about motherhood, there's so many questions I have. One of my friends, she's doing interviews for a nanny right now because she still works. And I'm like, okay, like, how did you even find them? Like, what questions do you even know how to ask them? Or like people at work who have kids, I'm like, how do you balance everything? Like, I'm so curious about motherhood, and especially like working moms, because I'm like, how am I going to do that? It sounds so intimidating, all these things. And hearing like, yeah, this is hard, I had to miss this, or you think this part sucks, but it doesn't, because you can actually make it work, if whatever. I get so curious about that. But if you were just like, oh no, everything's easy breezy, beautiful cover girl, I wouldn't learn anything, or these conversations wouldn't facilitate anything meaningful.
And I feel like I have heard you express about certain relationships or friendships where it's not going any further. I feel like that relationship has run its course when they're like, oh, my life is so like great or perfect, or not even like perfect. They just genuinely are not willing and open and vulnerable to share anything else. You're very one-dimensional, and we're not connecting. And that type of relationship, it's almost like I don't have energy and time for that.
Yeah, it's just not interesting to me, where I like the depth. I like all different sides and everything. Also, it was interesting because, did you listen to Ellen Pompeo's interview?
So funny, coming right off the heels of that, where she was like, motherhood is everything.
Yeah, I wanted to read this because when it comes to motherhood and mom guilt, like even you being here today, or even you doing this podcast, oh, I just feel so bad leaving my babies, or moms who have to work, or all of those things, or even just going to the gym or finding time for yourself. It's such a common thing that so many moms struggle with. But this is what she says, because I'm like, this is like music to my freaking ears, because I'm not even a mom, but I'm like, thank you for making a space. But she says, you cannot be a mother and have children and give 100% to your job. You can't, because there's a part of you that's somewhere else. You're no longer just you. You've been split into different pieces. You know what that does? It makes you more soulful. It makes you more richer. It makes you funnier. It makes you feel more. It makes you more empathetic. It makes you angrier. It gives you this range of emotions that you can't even imagine having about this person. You will be yourself times 1,000. You will just be a better version of yourself. And it doesn't matter that you can't give 100% to this, because, by the way, as women, we evolve anyway. I just love it so much, because I'm like, that is so... Are you crying?
Kind of. Oh, it's just like, there's so much, like, being a woman and being a mom.
Yeah.
You never feel enough, you know? Like,
but that's the thing, is it's like, you shouldn't be giving... You can't give 100% to motherhood. You can't give 100% to your work or your podcast or whatever. And I think that gives you permission of, it's okay if you can't give 100%, because exposing yourself to more and spreading yourself thin almost is like making you a better person, and overall giving yourself more life and personality and
range.
Yes, exactly.
And even with the podcast, it's really stretching me into a different range. And it is like, a part of me is slowly ignited again. Yeah. Where it is that like the humor, the depth, the vulnerability, where sometimes you're just trying to keep these humans alive, and it just keeps you up at night. Like, oh my gosh, I need to be everything for you. But I'm realizing, if I can grow and become more dimensional, it'll, one, give my kids the ability to emulate that and be complex, but also gives them an example of like, follow your dreams, work hard, be kind, be brave. And so I'm trying to remind myself that at the end of the day, all of this is, I want it to be for myself, but it is for my kids too. Like, who I am as a human being, it gives you another purpose.
Yeah, and it creates this person who's a happier person. And, you know, then you get to go home and be with your kids tomorrow, and you're more fulfilled from this conversation, and the days that we release an episode and it's doing well and you're proud of it, that helps you. And I think even whether it's a podcast, whether it's going to work or corporate job, or going to a girls' night, or waking up and going to a workout class and missing your kid waking up, but knowing that you're bettering yourself for the day ahead. There's so many things that moms feel torn in so many directions. But I love that. That gives you range. Being spread thin gives you range. I love that.
Yes,
it is so true.
I know. I'm so curious your experience with motherhood. I'm so excited to be along that journey with you. Even just this infertility, it sucks and it's been so hard, but I do feel like there is this evolution of strength and resilience and growth I see in you with this process.
Yeah.
And just more empathetic in that community of infertility.
Yep.
I see that growth, which is so hard to see because I don't want you to have to go through this. And it's cool to be on the sidelines seeing my best friend develop and grow. And I think seeing you into motherhood, I'm kind of more on the tail end, even having no more kids and all that stuff. But I think it'll be so connecting and fun to see that journey because it is really hard, but I think I'll see that growth within you and I'm really excited.
No, I think it will be good. It's hard because I was listening to that episode. They're like 100% you lose yourself. That woman does not exist anymore. I'm kind of scared for that change. It is kind of one door closing and another one opening. And as it gets closer and as we are getting closer to getting pregnant, hopefully, it feels like, oh, kind of scary. For sure, if I would have gotten pregnant right away, this podcast would not be a thing. There's so many things like that I'm like, oh, not even motherhood, but just trials in life or things that you go through, different situations you're put in or things that you're exposed to give you that range.
Exactly, yes. And what you just said, you lose that girl when you become a mom. You're no longer that person anymore. I think about with my kids growing up, you grieve those losses of 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old, and you're simultaneously falling in love. I want to reframe my brain. I'm falling in love with Chelsey now. Even though you miss that single, newly married, those are phases and times, and you can look back on that fondly and kind of even grieve that sometimes, but simultaneously falling in love with your life today. I think that could just be overarching.
Yeah. It is weird though, because it's like love your childhood self. But I really do. I was thinking about this when I was listening to this today. I was driving my car and I see myself as a mom, and I've never loved a version of myself more. Like that image in a mirror makes me so excited. And maybe that was just like motivational. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna elevate me even more. I feel like it's just gonna add a whole new shade of color to my life that I didn't even know existed, you know? And obviously it's like we talk about this and I've fantasized about being a mom and having a baby so much, but it's something you can't know until you experience. And so I'm excited. I love who I am now, but I can't imagine what that shade would look like on me.
I know it's cute that you're loving a future self, and that's honestly a beautiful sentiment too.
Yeah,
like I want to love my future self as well as my past self. We should do
that more because we're so focused on the past and healing that, but what about prepping ourselves for the future?
Just loving that evolution and growth.
Yes, looking forward to phases in life.
Yes. And I will say, I think that your biggest dream is just around the corner, that you've had your whole life of being a mom. You're working so hard to get there. And I will say, I know it's going to be everything that you've ever wanted and more. I can confidently say that.
That's so funny too. I don't know if we've talked about this, but you used to say when I'd be talking about getting married, like, oh, I just want to get married. I'm so lonely, like, whatever. And you're like, getting married is like not going to solve all your problems or whatever. You know, it doesn't make life perfect. Obviously, marriage is amazing and stuff, but it's not just going to solve everything. And I think you texted me 6 months after I got married, or maybe I just texted you that marriage genuinely is everything I hoped it would be. It's definitely not perfect. I obviously still have problems, but that love, that companionship, that support, having a partner, everything, I am a fantasizer. I romanticize my life and my future, my dreams. But like, truly, I love being married to Hayden and having a best friend. And like, he is so perfect for me and better than I could have ever imagined. I just love him so much. And marriage really is everything I hoped it would be. And it's probably not always going to be like that. I'm sure it will be up and downs, but I hope I can. Obviously, I'm going to be like, you guys are right. This is freaking hard and I can't do it with motherhood, but also rocking my baby to sleep at night being like,
this is everything I've ever wanted and my dream is happening.
That feeling I have when I'm in bed with Hayden and I'm pinching myself, like, life is so good, but then elevating that and watching him be a dad, it just is so exciting.
Oh, and I'm so happy that you and Hayden have had this time together, honestly. Yeah. Just by yourselves and falling in love even deeper and relishing in that companionship, because you did want that for so long. Long is just to have Hayden, you know?
Yeah. I just wish I wasn't so old.
I relish in it even longer, and I feel like it wouldn't be a time constraint because I want a million kids. Like, I think I gotta get it moving. I gotta get it going.
Yeah.
Once your baby's here, looking back, I don't think it'll be like, oh, I wish that we got pregnant the day of our wedding. Yeah. I feel like it'll be like, wow, I'm so happy that we had all of that alone time. And it's so funny because I just know. And it's weird because even with Hayden, when you were getting married or whatever, and I would say those things, it's not going to fix all your problems, it's amazing, but you're still going to have your stuff. With motherhood, I just can so confidently say it's going to be everything that you've ever wanted. And I know you're going to have the worst days, the absolute worst days of your freaking life.
Yeah.
It's going to be so worth it. It's going to change everything.
Yeah. And that's so exciting. Like, imagine being me waiting in line for that. I feel like it's this roller coaster that I'm waiting to go on. And you're like, oh my gosh, it goes up and it goes down and like, twists around. And it's so fun. This part is the best, but like this part's kind of scary. And like, you're going to but hold on tight.
You might throw up here, but like.
Yeah. And then I'm just like, oh my gosh, like just seeing people get off this ride. Like, oh my gosh, it looks so fun. And I'm just in line for it. That is something that is exciting. And I remember thinking that before I got married too. I still have so much of the best days ahead of me and so much of the most exciting things.
Yeah.
But also terrified.
Yes. Love all of these sentiments because I feel like you are confidently happy with where you're at right now in your life. And obviously it's such a hard time of life, but I think you're growing yourself. You're loving, you're out here freaking fulfilling your dreams. You're waiting in line. You're patiently waiting and working hard to get on that ride. Yeah. But I think your quality of life right now is like perfect and beautiful and wonderful.
And that's something I have to remind myself of because people are going through some hard stuff. I have so many friends going through some really hard things right now. And I'm just like, man, baby, blah. But life is actually really good for me. And I need really.
And I think you are. Especially just this break of not trying this month has been amazing. Obviously so hard and so emotional in ways, but I think it's also been really good because you've been able to focus more on friendships, relationships, family, Hayden, and it's kind of on the back burner.
And I think it's just a perspective shift too. But yeah, I'm glad that you liked that and I loved your takes on everything. Okay, what do you think about this whole Blue Origin thing?
Katy Perry going to space?
Yeah, the first woman.
Oh my gosh, that's what I needed to talk to you about. I was dying. They made it such a big deal. It was just weeks and weeks of interviews and we're going and all this stuff and freaking Katy Perry's gonna go sing in space and live out her dreams because she just loves space. Just $1 billion on this voyage. So I'm expecting they're gonna be in space for days. It's gonna be a whole thing. The whole thing's 11 minutes.
You're like, I hope they survive. It's so scary. They're literally up there for 30 seconds.
And they're just like, yo, Katy Perry's just holding a dandelion and a butterfly floating. And then they're back.
Yeah.
And you just see freaking Kris Jenner watching it with her sunglasses. And something about this is not reading well.
No. It's embarrassing. Whole 11-minute journey.
Comes back, kisses the earth. Oh my gosh, thank goodness I'm back on my home planet.
I know. So what do you feel like their purpose is with it?
It was Jeff Bezos' wife, Katy Perry, and then Gail.
Yeah, Gail King, and then 2 other astronauts, and then I forget her name. She's a big fashion designer.
The amount of money that you have to have.
Well, the whole time I was watching it, I'm like, okay, but we can't go back to the moon. There's not funds to go back to the moon.
It's almost like, spend your money, girl. You curious about space? Go.
I bet you she got paid to do it.
You think she got paid?
Yeah, I think Jeff Bezos paid for everything. Yeah, I bet
But why Katy Perry?
Because I'm sure they reached out to a ton of people. You know they reached out to Oprah, and Oprah's like, hell no.
But she's like, Gail, my best friend will go.
Yeah.
Do you think that they low-key love each other?
Like,
Gail?
Not in that way, no. I think they're best friend goals, but I don't think that they're love interest.
They're best friends and so cute.
Yeah, that part was cute. Did you see that interview of Oprah when they're up in there?
No, what did she say?
They're just like, how are you feeling now that she's up there? And she's like, oh, I don't know. Seeing those flames and how loud it was and everything. I know Gail's so scared and I just am so proud of her. And everything we've been through just flashes before my eyes. And I'm like, that's so sad because you just don't know. Your best friend might die. What if it was one of those ships that blew up on takeoff?
Yeah.
Katy Perry and Gail could have freaking died.
I know, but the thing that it's reading as is an SNL skit, honestly.
Oh, you know they're going to do an SNL skit on this. That's what's funny is all these celebrities are pissed, talking about how bad it is for the environment, that we're spending money on this, all of these things. Why? But now you can literally click on the Blue Origin website and buy a ticket to go to space. Obviously,
really
it's millions of dollars. But it's like, click here to buy a seat. There's literally a form you fill out to be able to ride it.
But why? I get it to go to space. I get that.
It's just to say that you went to space. But their whole campaign, what people are saying is they're paying for PR, but it's falling flat. And they're just like, take up space. But also, the first all-female rocket ship to go to space or whatever. Why don't you have real astronauts? There was a couple on there, but why do we need to get Katy Perry? That's the PR piece where
I know, but it's
and
the
she'll
Katy
sing,
Perry
"Oh,
of
what
it
a
all."
wonderful world" to us, and it'll be so awesome. She brings a butterfly with her set list on it, and is like,
but why like broadcast it? And also, the world is going to shit right now.
Like, that's what a lot of people are pissed about. They're like, read the room. We can't afford eggs, and you guys are spending $1 billion on going to space for 10 seconds.
Yeah, and if that's been your lifelong dream and you have all the money in the world and you want to do that, great. But maybe you don't broadcast it when we're all out here, you know.
And that's the thing, is they genuinely in their interviews, they think they're doing so much good and carving pathways for women and taking up space and we matter. What is your exact message? It's falling flat.
Yeah, what is this 5-year-old girl supposed to be like? I want to be like Katy Perry and go to space.
I don't know, but the whole thing, I've been watching it all the last couple of days and I'm like, I cannot wait to hear Chelsea's thoughts on this because it's so random.
I thought it was fake when I first saw it because I didn't watch all the interviews leading up to it, but then when I saw it, I thought it was a joke. I thought it was like a music video because I'm like, why is Gail
a music video? Why is Gail in a freaking space tracksuit?
Yeah, and just the fit of it all, those tracksuits
and the full glam and the
full glam,
the hair's
the
floating.
curl.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It was very confusing. Okay, also, I know you didn't read it, but Hunger Games.
Are we seriously talking about Hunger Games right now?
I want to punch you in the face. You texted me and you were like, our Deepish algorithm is all Hunger Games. Why?
Yeah. I was like, what the? Because I watched one video because sometimes I'll get on to scroll and I forget I'm logged into Deepish. And then I'm like, oh, random. Hunger Games, okay, 2012. No thanks. And then I scroll again and it's like, Suzanne Collins was a genius when she said this. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, why is Hunger Games a thing again?
Okay, so there's a new book called Sunrise at the Reaping, and it's Haymitch, his story.
I'm bored. That's great for you. I'm not in it. So like you saying Haymitch right now, I'm like, cool.
I'm like literally still at the table. Like I am
I'm still at the restaurant.
No, it's bad. It's all I can think about. It's so devastating. It's the best one. I rewatched all the movies. I'm rereading all the books. Luckily, I had people to talk to about this, minus you.
But how different can it be? She fights and
did
this
you never
person
read?
Dies first. No, I read the first 3,
But
and
you
like
didn't
saw
love
the movies.
them?
No, I loved them.
Okay, will you read the book and
this
then we
is
can
like
talk
me
about it?
being like Twilight, Edward's version. Come on, you know what I mean?
Okay, Haymitch. Do you even know who that is?
Is he the guy, the weird bald guy that does the train thing? That helps Katniss at the...
Yeah, he's wearing a wig, so he's not bald.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about. The weird, creepy underbite dude.
Underbite? Okay, off air, I'm giving you a whole history lesson of this.
Yeah, but tell us something good that the listeners
The book is
would care
amazing.
about.
Please read it. So it's Haymitch's story of him at the games.
Back in time.
It goes back in time when he's 16. He goes to the Hunger Games.
Okay.
And it's his story of him winning. It is devastating, the amount of loss that he goes through. You think, okay, he can't lose anymore. Loses. And at the end, you're just like, he is baby and needs to be protected at all costs. And all I remind myself is he has Peeta and Katniss now. They are family. But it is... And here...
Good God. It's 2025, Chelsea.
I know, but also I rewatched all the movies and I am here for a short king. I remember when I first watched the movies, I was like, I wish Liam was Peeta and Josh was Gale or whatever, because I loved Liam Hemsworth. But now I'm like, freaking Josh Hutcherson can get it.
Him? I have a picture with him.
What?
I know, me and Sam went up to him at Sundance Film Festival, and he was actually the nicest guy that we met. He was so nice.
Was he really short?
I think he was maybe a little bit taller than me.
Okay, that's
barely.
great.
Yeah, I'm sure he's short. He's probably like 5'9".
But he has something about him that's swag and also kind of like pathetic.
Swag?
No, it's weird because he's like kind of pathetic in the movies. Remember when he's like in all of the camouflaged makeup and he's like a tree stump and you're just like, that's a little much. You're embarrassing yourself. But I'm just watching it and I'm just like, there's something about you that you should be kind of pathetic, but I'm so here for you.
Really?
And I love their romance. I love their character arc. I think it's one of the best movie adaptations. And they're making a movie of Sunrise at the Reaping and I cannot wait.
Did you watch the most recent one that came out?
Yeah, it was good. I didn't love it, but even the book, it was definitely good. I'm glad I read it. I'm glad I watched the movie, but this changes everything. And it's supposed to come out next year, maybe. Also, I think I've been reading so much garbage lately, and you go back to Suzanne Collins and I'm like, you're a writer. You're genuinely so good, and there's a reason why your books were massive, because you're such a good writer.
Yeah.
And I am on that train. I am in that arena. Like, I am with PETA. Hey, Mitch, I love you. It's like, she's so good. You're gonna punch you in the face, but I'm telling you, people are out here. Sammy is missing out.
No, and I hope that they are. And I hope that they
Would you read it
whatever
or no?
trauma they're going through right now, that they have to read the Hunger Games.
I know, but it's me and my sister-in-laws and my cousin are reading it, and we're so in it.
Yeah.
We keep trying to read other books, and we keep trying to talk about something else, and then one of us sends a meme, and we're like, it was his birthday, because he got raped on his birthday, had to go to the Hunger Games on his birthday, and we cannot get over it.
I know, but if I showed up to this podcast and was like, freaking Bella, like, Jacob, come on, you know, blah, 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 you know, you'd be like, okay. I remember those days.
No, I'd be like, I kind of want to rewatch the movie.
Yeah. Okay, no, just kidding. I'm sure I'll eat my words, and freaking Mariana is going to come for me and be like, Sammy's a bitch. This Hunger Games thing, I cannot.
No, really, though.
No, I'm glad.
Are you reading anything good? What was your gateway into reading? Do you remember? Real novels.
Series of Unfortunate Events.
That slapped.
Lemony Snicket.
But did you watch the movie and loved it so much?
No, I kind of hated it.
Oh, really?
Of course, I was so excited. That was the first like book to movie adaptation. But then they combined the first 3 books in one movie, and I hated that.
Yeah.
Because it felt very
so much
rushed.
more. Yeah.
Jim Carrey was creepy, but they did a good job. And then I remember reading, obviously, Twilight and all of that. That was amazing.
Yes. I love now there's certain things where I feel like so many people are rereading The Hunger Games, or shows that everyone's watching Severance or White Lotus. It's like the whole world is together a little bit.
Yeah.
And I feel that way with a good book. Twilight was my first experience with that, where it was like everyone I knew. Well, it started with Harry Potter and then Twilight.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I love that everyone can get. Oh, and did you read Fourth Wing?
I know. I told my coworkers I'm going to wait till the next one's almost out, and then I'll reread all of them.
Oh.
Because I know I'd want to reread them
right before.
Anyways,
You'll love them, I think.
I think I'll get deep into it.
Because I know you're not a huge fantasy girly, but even for me, ACOTAR and stuff was a little too much for me.
Yeah. Because they're actual humans, so I can do that.
They're humans, and I think the writing's good and the storyline's good.
Yeah. I think I can do it. I'll really commit and do it. But yeah, fantasy is just the same thing with action movies. Why torture myself, you know?
I know, and you never got into Harry Potter.
No, that's another thing I don't understand.
So there's a pie chart of Chelsea, okay? And part of that pie chart is Harry Potter. And you don't know that part of me. I love Harry Potter.
There's a pie chart of me. And then part of that is like my cousins growing up making me listen to Harry Potter on tape. And I'm like, can we not watch Legally Blonde? And I'm just like, oh, Hermione, Ron, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I am sorry, but I'm not a nerd. I want to watch Sleepover, you know? And so
I literally hate you.
My childhood, I am just a girly girl through and through, and Harry Potter was boring to me. And yes, I went and watched the movies. Of course, I watched The Sorcerer's Stone. Of course, the first movie was great and exciting, but past like movie 3 or 4, I don't get into the whole like, oh no, but his powers outdid his powers, and you know. And I remember, oh, what's his name? Oh, the sad little Dobby. Oh, when Dobby died. Okay. That was very sad, like senior year.
Okay. I reread the books every 2 years and watch the movies every single year.
I'm so happy for you. That's great.
I know, but you're giving off like school bully right now.
I am? Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. No, but it's just like, oh my gosh, like you're I also can just not be interested in those things.
I know, but you're just like you're just too much of a cool girl at heart. Like, what's the nerdiest thing about you?
No. Oh, probably just how smart I am with like computers. Oh my gosh, I'm just giving off bitchy today, huh? No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
I feel like there is a part of me that's like the nerd in me. It's boiling at the surface where it's like there is this layer of me where I'll catch myself doing something where I'm like wiping my nose or looking, and I'm like, there's a nerd inside of me. Or I'm like mouth breathing.
Look at the mirror and I'm like, there's a nerd inside me. What's like, out, Chelsey? Let her out. Mouth breathing?
Yeah, I'll like mouth breathe. We'll be watching a show and I'll just be like, and I'm like, ew, I'm disgusting. I think that's in me.
No, but that's the thing. It's so funny because I was talking to my brother. He just got a new job. And I was like, how are your coworkers? Do you love your coworkers? He's like, oh, no, they're pretty nerdy. And all my coworkers are nerdy. Like, play Star Wars cards at lunch. Here's the thing, though. One of my friends at work, she loves building Lego sets and like getting into different hobbies, like paint by number or books or whatever. And her husband have all these hobbies where she's like, oh, he bought me this new thing and I'm going to build it this weekend. I'm like, that is so fun.
Yeah.
You're kind of living like kids, but also you're mature adults. You make a lot of money. Like, you have fun still with small things. And I love the idea of nerding out on something.
Yes.
And there's nothing bad about being nerds. I think a lot of people take pride in being a nerd, and I think nerdy things are cool. And I think the problem is me. I'm just surface level and dumb to an extent of my brain cannot. Like, I have so much brain power. I want to just numb out. And I was such a fantasy person where I'm like, oh, I want to watch How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days because I want to picture myself being this girl who gets swept off her feet. And that was fun. Like, my imagination was my future and preppy, girly, stupid things, which have no substance to them. And it's not a you problem. It's a me problem.
Yeah. And I actually love that too. I think even in my life right now, sometimes I'm like, I want a hobby or something that I love. And I need to remind myself, I do love reading and I do love television. I can really fixate on that. But I love people that have deep passions about things, whether that is freaking Pokemon cards or whatever, quote unquote nerdier things. I'm like, that's amazing that you have something that can capture your attention and that you're interested and passionate. I feel like I'm too onto the next.
Even like D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, a lot of guys at my work play, and they talk about the rules and the storyline of this video game, and I'm like, that's so cool. That sounds amazing. I'm sure, but if I got into it, like a good fantasy book, I could really ride with that.
I don't know though. I think if you were reading ACOTAR, I feel like you'd be down for all this steamy part of it and the romance. But you're like me. Anytime that it was talking about legit, like, okay, the freaking bat dudes, I can't with that.
And maybe it's a self-centered thing. I don't even know how to explain it, where I have to relate to something to like it. With anything, with a movie, with a book, I have to be able to relate to it somehow to love it.
But you really are not like the stereotypical, you have nothing nerdy about you.
Yeah, except for I love gaming.
That's not nerdy though. That's like a freaking 14-year-old boy with a backwards hat. That's not like nerdy.
Oh, so it's cool.
Yeah, it's so cool. Like the guys you had a crush on, you're coming back to that. I want to.
So what's nerdy about you is just that you like Harry Potter and Hunger Games?
Yeah, I feel like there is nerdy tendencies sometimes. Do I give off nerdy?
No, I mean, I could get what you're saying. There might be, like, sometimes there's a nerd inside you, but not in a bad way.
I know, but I need my glasses. And
I'm like, maybe it's just the glasses and when you do this thing.
I know, but I'm also kind of here for that. Like, the nerd, I took my glasses off at prom and everyone was like, whoa, you know? I feel like I've had a few of those moments where it's like, okay, there's a hot girl inside of me somewhere.
Yeah, but that's what's great is you are a hot girl. So you are the nerd too. But that's the thing is the stereotypes and blah, blah, blah. You know, it's like, who cares? You can be whatever you want to be. I don't want to put you or I in a box of, no, I just like what I like, you know?
I know, and you like all the socially acceptable cool things. But I think I fixate on things. Like my whole algorithm.
Yeah, see, I'm not.
You're not a fixator.
I will read it and look at it for a second. But then I'm like, okay, moving on with life. I just think that the nerd thing, I don't like how much energy it takes up in my brain to think about some things.
Well, my biggest thing right now is evolution. I'm obsessed with evolution. I don't know why. And I keep sending you things about evolution because my goal is to try to learn something new every week. And so I was listening to this podcast and there was this expert on evolution. And I was like, this is so cool. I know about evolution, but I didn't know we literally started out as 2 cells and then we slowly over like millions of years became fish. And then, even at me saying this, you're glazing over. But it's like we were fish, and then
tadpoles and fish, and then blah blah blah, reptiles, amphibians, and monkeys. Yeah,
and then monkeys, and then it's humans. And I was like, this is so cool, and I'm obsessed with it right now. I'm watching documentaries on my phone. I'm reading all of this stuff about it. Anything I can find. It's a weird tendency I have though with anything, even with a show I'm watching. I'll look at a character, and I'm like, I need to know everything about your life. I need to watch every single interview about this show. I need to know who the director was. I need to know who the costume designer was. I need to know what else they designed. Until that's satiated, I cannot stop thinking about it.
Yeah, and I feel like right now you're fixating on basic knowledge. Like, I want to learn the basics since we've been having these conversations about the dinosaurs or evolution or learning these basic things, which is great. And I think it's maybe to the phase of life you're in. Being a stay-at-home mom, you probably want, okay, what can I get my brain like moving? Or where can I feel a little bit of productivity in my brain today type thing.
Yeah. And I do think that with the learning something new each week, that's more me having a desire of picking a topic and, okay, let's learn just to not be ignorant about certain things. Because I want to grow that side of my brain and actually learn science and the basic history and stuff like that. And I'm realizing, oh, this is fun and interesting. Because I think when I was in school and in college, I always got good grades. I always did well, but I didn't learn anything. It was always to get the grade. And I'm realizing now I want to fall back in love with learning.
Yeah.
And the learning I have been doing is like fixating on a celebrity or fixating on a book or a character or something. And I get so into that, and I'm kind of letting that roll over into more productive things just once a week because I can still get into things. It's so funny though, because even the Justin Baldoni Blake drama, I got so into it where I need to know everything and then finally I can move on. And I have to get down to the very bottom of it.
So can you walk away from those situations knowing that you might not know the full story? Is there a period dot that you can put on it when you don't know the rest?
Yeah, obviously the Blake and Justin is still ongoing, but I knew it to a point where it felt like I was satisfied.
I have an idea in my head. This is good.
Yes. And I think about it too with Dune. Did you ever watch those movies?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Action, like action and fantasy. Hell no. When they're like riding a worm.
Yeah.
I bet I didn't watch Dune. It's with Timothée Chalamet and they ride worms with Zendaya.
I know. That's what I love about Hayden. He would rather watch Love Island than an action movie.
So nice.
He's perfect for me.
But Dune, I watched the movie. I'm like, I don't understand anything. It's a book series. It's like 5 books or something. And I was like, I hate that movie. I didn't understand anything. But then I asked my brother-in-law, okay, tell me a little bit about this. He gave me a little bit of backstory and I was hooked. And then I was watching TikToks for days about all of the books, what everything means. And I was like, oh, I guess I am into this.
Yeah.
And I was telling my hairdresser, she was like, oh yeah, I watched Dune, but I didn't understand this. And I was like, okay, you want to hear about the freaking spice and this
is how this world was created, and then they introduced this character, and then this and this and
yeah,
this.
and then I know everything, and then I feel so okay. I wonder if that's like a mental condition. It's like not ADD.
Form of OCD type thing.
Yeah,
where you're
OCD.
Like, I have to know. But can I also tell you something? You say you like what's socially cool or acceptable. When I'm sitting at the table, let's say I pick 10 random people that I work with and we go to lunch and like, oh, Sam, what's your favorite movie? And I'm like, oh, Legally Blonde or While You Were Sleeping. That's not cool. Like being a girly girl basic bitch, I feel like is embarrassing sometimes.
Well, I think it's just the very ditzy.
Yeah, but it's like, no, I genuinely, that's what entertains me and I like that. So I had to really gain confidence with that, especially working in the corporate world, not trying to think like, oh, Shawshank Redemption, that's my favorite movie, or I love this, or oh, yeah, I love reading about philosophy in my spare time. I'm just like, yeah, no, I watched the freaking Bachelor last night. Like, what did you do?
Yes.
I took a bath and I whatever, and I'm getting my nails done tonight. The nerdy guys at my work are like, nice. Or, yeah, I'm going to see Taylor Swift.
There is a connotation with that as well. Where
even
like,
me liking Taylor Swift, I feel like people write me off where they're just like, oh, you're 31 and you like Taylor Swift. And I'm like, yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're 31.
Yeah.
You're not 32 yet. Yeah, I'm so jealous. When you said that, I'm like, no, you're 32, but you are 31 still. But no, I get that. So do you feel like you have a good relationship with that now, where it's like, okay, I'm confident in this? Because even when I was like, oh my gosh, I want to learn, after we had that conversation about the asteroid hitting the earth and everything, you're like, okay, cool, I don't care about that. And I like, had to learn everything about that after that episode.
Yeah.
And you're like, I would rather do anything but learn about that. I don't care.
I'd rather just chat GPT it, or I'd have you give me the cliff notes on what you learned.
Is that interesting to you though? Even me talking about a book or whatever, you're like, okay, boring, next. Or is it like, no, that's interesting, like I want to know more about that? Or is it kind of just like, that's not my interest, I don't care?
I think my job is very brain,
like cerebral heavy.
It's calculating, like pull these absence calculations into this and figure out like why this isn't working, and let's drill down to 14 different report fields. It's hard brain power. I'm not naturally smart, so it takes a lot of effort for me. So when I'm talking to you, or if I'm hanging out with my friends at dinner, let's talk about
our lives and
some light stuff. Please, no one make me think about anything.
Yeah, it's different though, because it's not like you're craving lightness. You don't want it to just be a surface conversation. You're always down to get deep and hear people's stuff, and connection is such a huge part of what fills your cup.
And this podcast, for sure, I could go down those rabbit holes. Or if we're camping at night, I would love to be like, how do you think this started, and like evolution? Like, it's so crazy. My brain can really get there. But if you're texting me a chart of evolution and they're like, the cornucopia turned into this, I'm like, hi, I'm at work. I literally cannot think about this right now. Like, I'm glad that we evolved and we out here, we made it to be human.
I know. But like, I was showing Riggs, I was showing him the chart and I was like, buddy, did you know humans used to be freaking cells, and then it went all the way to humans? And then he was like, okay, so when was I a monkey? Or okay, when was I a fish? And I'm like, buddy, no, you were not a fish millions of years ago. He's like, yeah, but who do we know was a fish? No one.
Was grandma a fish? Was grandpa a fish?
Like, nobody. It was so classic.
But a lot of what fills my brain is like mentorship or leadership or finding a way to grow in my career. The books that I read, I'm very much like corporate self-help based right now, just in my life. Because that's what I'm curious about, like communication skills or crucial conversations, those type of things. If I was like, do you know the 5 best ways to communicate and get a meeting across to get the project done would be, you'd be like,
no, I'd be like, no, the thing you just said, I'm like, yes, tell me. That's the thing.
Really? Yeah. And so maybe it is a personality thing.
Yeah, where I feel like I'm in I think too, my thing is if anyone's passionate about anything, I'm obsessed with it and I want to know everything. Or it's
I love that. I'm not like that at all.
If someone was like, okay, wait, Dungeons and Dragons, know nothing about it. But if I was sitting there at lunch and I'd be like, hey, no, I need to know the Demogorgon. Tell me everything.
Like, what are the rules? How do you get here?
And I love people that are very knowledgeable on any subject. I'm so attracted to that. I'm like, tell me
then why
everything.
Are you my best friend? Because I'm not like that.
No, you are though, because you're very connection based. That's why we're so close. You're very passionate about connecting with others.
Like human connection. But if you were like, how does this work? I would be like, bruh.
Swerve. No. It's so funny though, because even though we have quote unquote some different tendencies or passions or whatever, we're so connected.
Or even if I'm like a little bit smart, quote unquote smarter than you, if my brain quote unquote understands Pangea, we can still be friends.
No, but our relationship and friendship is so based on truly the human experience. And that's what's so beautiful. And the thing is, if these Dungeon and Dragon dudes, maybe you're not into that, but I feel like you could hang and talk about their life and their kids and their family and their wife. You would love
like
those conversations.
Yes, 100%.
And so I feel like that's what you're very passionate about. And I think
things that matter. And I think the same thing with history and stuff. Obviously, knowing knowledge is important. But I think you think it's more important than I do. Because I'm just like, nobody cares that I don't know what happened 66 million years ago to the dinosaurs.
No one.
When is that going to come over? Oh, I know this. You want to know what happened to the continents? Well, there was this asteroid. And then there was that, you know what I mean? Obviously, it's making me look bad on this podcast. And half of my community and people that know me know I'm dumb now. But in my mind, that would be a waste of time for me. You know, because I'm just like, who cares? And it's also maybe one of those things where I don't like watching the news, or ignorance is bliss, where I'm like, that sounds hard. I don't want to think about this nuclear bomb or the fact that if freaking Yellowstone blew up, we'd all be dead.
No, totally. And I think too, it's a difference for me where I'm not waiting for someone to call on me. I'm not waiting for someone to call me. It's like, I think it's,
what were we before we turned into reptiles? You know? But you know what we should do? When you're done with this phase of learning, we should get a really good trivia board game and have a date night.
Here's my thing though too. I have a horrendous memory. And I always have. It's weird because I used to do this in high school where I would cram for an exam and I would always like take the test or do the assignment, and then I get the grade and then I forget everything, but I got that end result. And that's how I am still to this day, where I learn everything about Dune, or I learn everything about a celebrity or evolution. And then tomorrow I forget it. I have to like get all the knowledge, and then tomorrow I can just forget all of it.
Interesting.
And so I'm trying to remember about even Justin and Blake, the drama. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, I don't remember it right now. And it kind of makes me sad because I want to know this basic information, especially with history and science and stuff. I want that to stick because I don't want to keep learning it, and I want it to just increase my knowledge and become smarter.
You know how you don't know the lyrics to any songs?
Yes.
Do you feel like that's because of your bad memory?
Totally. But the thing is, I'll be passionate about a song and I'm just like, la 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 la. Like,
yeah,
don't know any of the
words. We'll be
words.
at a concert, like, and you're just screaming, blessed. And I'm like, Chelsey, no, it's this. But I went on a road trip with my sister and we were listening to all these old songs. And I'm like, it's crazy how it just bounces back. You just know the words to all these songs. And I'm like, I wish all of this knowledge was in songs. I wish I could just freaking cram all of
Taylor's like, okay, evolution.
Yeah, like we were this, and then Pangea and the global warming or whatever came, you know? That would be really helpful because then I could just sing it, you know?
Totally.
But it is interesting that with lyrics you don't remember them, and that's probably because of your bad memory.
I know, but it kind of scares me too. And I think there's times where it's very tangible how it's atrophying.
You need to start doing Sudoku.
Yeah. And I told you this before. I have such a desire to be educated.
Yeah.
It just feels so
and
cool.
I think you should follow that, and I truly support it.
I just want to be passionate about something, and maybe along the way of all the things I'm learning or doing, I think the through line throughout my life has been I have been very passionate about film and television. I've always loved movies and shows.
What about like ingredients in food? Do you fixate on that,
No.
wanting to know exactly what's in everything?
No, I don't have any desire for that. Where I'm not at a restaurant eating something and I'm like, I have to recreate this. I wonder what's in this. Not at all. Do you?
No, I'm just wondering if that fixation on like I have to know all the things would translate into other areas, you know?
Yeah, it's like film, television is a celebrity, but like even this book, I fixate on it and I need to know everything.
Or a storyline.
A storyline or something.
So it has to interest you in some way.
In some way, for sure. And I guess that's such a good point, like the food thing. I'm like, no, I'm not really very passionate about that. But I haven't found a strict passion. I guess that's what I'm exploring. I want to find something that like hooks me and then it becomes this lifelong.
Like a podcast?
Yes, like a podcast. Should we start one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just need to find that. I'm like, you found it, girl.
Yes.
Happiness is here. Oh my gosh.
You know what? Can I just say one other thing that's so random? In this new book, there's so much name dropping from other characters in other books. And I'm like, I need to create a whole family tree. I need to know exactly how they're related, how everything's connected. So that was my obsession.
I'm sure someone on TikTok has done that. You should look. If you just pull up our Deepish TikTok account, you'll find it.
Like scroll through, just hey Mitch.
Hey Mitch. Just that name. Why is that name triggering for me? Just
I'm
language.
really upset. You need to really think about that. You need to sit with that. And he's not bald. He's wearing a wig.
Yeah, but he's bald in real life.
Yeah, he's bald in real life. And he doesn't have an underbite. Don't be rude to my hey Mitch.
He gives underbite vibes, though. Am I thinking of the right person?
You are.
Hey Mitch.
Yeah.
Does he give Tova,
he's
your dog?
giving Tova. Side note, can I just tell you something?
Mm-hmm.
I cannot with salespeople. I'm a salesperson. My background is in sales and I know all the tactics and I know it. I don't know what it is, but it's so upsetting to me and triggering.
Yeah.
So these two guys knock on my door and they're just weird sales guys. And I can just cut it off so fast. I'm like, I'm not interested. And they're like, hi, so are you the homeowner? And they try to get in there. And I'm like, no, I can like shut it down so easy. I don't care if they're literally giving me the best deal in the whole world. I don't want to talk to you and I don't want you to sell to me. Mm-hmm. And I do not let it drag on. I'm like, no, sorry. And they're like, oh, well, no, I'm not interested.
Why don't you just not answer the door?
Well, sometimes I don't know who's there or I just answer, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or they know I'm home and I'm like, okay, whatever. But these two boys came back 2 more times that day.
What are they selling?
They were selling the internet. And the first time I answered, I was like, I'm so sorry, guys. I can't talk my baby. An excuse about my baby. They left and I'm like, cool, I'm rid of them. They came back again and I didn't answer the second time. I saw them on my camera and I was like, I'm not answering. So then they came a 3rd time that same day. It was like bros. And so then I see it and I'm like, Brandon, will you answer it? But Brandon is the worst at cutting off any conversation. Mm-hmm. Like with a neighbor, I am so good at in and out.
Yeah.
If I take out the trash and I see a neighbor and they want to talk to me, I can get out of that conversation immediately. Brandon's out there for 45 minutes talking about the freaking grass. He cannot cut off a conversation. We'll sit there in silence. He's so good with just being like, the nod, and like the conversation kind of went dead and the nod and then it keeps going and I'm like, bro, end the conversation. Anyway, so he answers the door and I'm like, oh, bless his heart, it's going down.
Yeah, good luck to you.
So they're talking and this guy, he's just not a good sales guy. And he's like, I saw a soccer ball out there. Do you play soccer? And it's just, Brandon's answering all of his questions so nice. And he's like, yeah, he's doing the small talk forever. Anyways, they get to the pitch of it all. Turns out it's a great deal. And we would save $30 and we'd get more internet and all this stuff.
So you bought it?
Yeah. So then Brandon's like, oh, I'll ask my wife. And I'm literally cleaning the kitchen and I'm just like, oh crap, it is a good deal and I know we'll save money. So then they leave. Brandon's like, sorry, I couldn't get out of the conversation. I'm like, well, we would save money. So he's like, should I go flag him down? And I'm like, no, he'll come back. Brandon goes like running down the street trying to chase him. And I'm just like, no. So the guy came back again today. And Brandon called me and he was like, I'm going to get it. And I'm like, okay. But even the fact that it was a good deal, I'm like, I hate you.
That follow through really paid off for them.
I know, but are you okay with that? How are you with salespeople in general? Not necessarily just even someone knocking on your door. Just a salesperson. Are you
you're
receptive?
Like my exception, because most, especially guys, and my mom used to have such a thing on this, like guys who have sales personalities. The sales personality I hate. It's inauthentic, showy, and crossing boundaries inside your space. I hate salespeople.
Yes.
100%. It makes me so uncomfortable. It's like the opposite of my personality. I'm like, whoa, I'm very reserved. Don't really push things. They're so pushy. Yeah, I don't like it.
They're just so pushy. That's the thing. You're just like, no. And then they do these trainings where it's like, hey, they say no. That's like just one step closer to a yes.
And they do great. And obviously they don't care what people think about them. They're like knocking doors and pushing. But Hayden did door-to-door sales and wasn't very good at it because he's just a normal personality who doesn't want to.
He's respectful. He's like, okay,
push
you
his
said
way
no.
through.
Brandon would just... He would
suck at sales because he's such a good guy.
But here's the thing, Brandon is so good at sales in the sense of he just makes contacts with people and makes genuine friendships, and then people come back to him. But he's never cold calling anyone. Yeah, he'll get a client that was like, he's known him for 4 years, and then it turns out to be like thousands and thousands of dollar order. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it's very relationship based.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have that tendency inside me where I can grind and push boundaries and like, and I don't know what it is. I can lock in till I'm going to get that money.
Yeah.
And I hate that side of me. So I don't even want to.
But it's great that you have that side, because if you needed to, that's where the money is. If you could tap into sales and do that.
It's slimy though. It's a slimy, slippery slope because your integrity can go like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, there's a promo, even though this sucks, I'm going to sell them this and I'm going to make it sound like it's a good deal because I'll get a shit ton of commission. And it's just not genuine.
No, I completely agree.
Are you good at cutting the conversation off though? Are you like, no, sorry, I'm not interested?
Yeah, especially when I go somewhere and they try and upsell me with something, or like at the car wash, like, do you want the ceramic duck? And I'm like, no. Every freaking time I come here, you guys try and give me this whole spiel and sell me on this, and I'm good.
Oh my gosh, I love that energy from you.
Yeah.
Hayden good at like getting out of the conversation.
Yeah, for the door-to-door salesman, he has empathy for them because he's been there. So he's like, oh, let me just talk to him, get him a water, whatever. So sweet. But the missionaries, no.
He's like, oh.
When they're selling religion, not so much.
Does he answer the door or does he just not answer?
Oh, no, we hide. Yeah. So do you think you'll go back into sales?
I mean, just to sell this podcast.
But once your kids are raised.
I loved managing, I think, and I would love to be the head of a department, maybe a sales department, but I like that aspect a little bit more than actually grinding.
But do you feel like managing a sales team, you have to subscribe to that
mentality? Bullshit? Yeah, I don't really want, I don't know what I want. I want this podcast right now. And then maybe my heart will heal and I'll have a better relationship with sales. Brandon's randomly like healing that part of me because like he's doing well and he's like, I never considered myself a salesperson, but he's getting all these sales. Yeah. And I'm like, it's because you're so genuine. And people want to work with you and you'll be honest and you're like,
well, he's passionate about what he's selling. He's not selling some like security system. He's selling his family's candy.
Yeah. So I think that there's probably people more like Brandon out there. And
like, so honest sales guys.
Honest.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. Oh, I loved this chat. It's so funny though because we have a tendency to just forget we're recording and just talking. And I'm like, wait, how long have we been recording? Because it's just literally chatting with my best friend is so fun.
I know. I could just veer off to the next subject right now. And keep talking.
I know. We'll save it for next week. Always more to talk about, but I love you so much.
I love you.
And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
I know. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will talk to you guys next week.
Okay, love ya.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.